This video presents a quick overview of the design of the Amicus layout, so you'll have an understanding of where things are and how you can customize the appearance. More details on how to make a prediction will be given in a later video. The version of Amicus used in this video is 0.5, which is the beta version released in December 2016. Once you've installed Amicus and go to start it, you first come across the disclaimer. The disclaimer outlines the limitations and uses of the software. Once you've read it, tick the I have read the disclaimer checkbox and then click OK to continue. If you don't do this, Amicus will close. So this is the default view of Amicus. Amicus has three input panels: meteorology, location, and vegetation, and an output panel. The input panels are where the different inputs for the predictions are entered. Before we start looking at the panels, I'll firstly go over this prediction purpose button, which is something that you should check before making predictions in Amicus. There are two sets of fire behaviour models within Amicus, those specifically for wildfires and those for prescribed fire. The models available for a prediction depend on the prediction purpose setting. If you're predicting the behaviour of a wildfire, click on the red wildfire button in the top left here. If you're carrying out a prediction of fire behaviour for a prescribed burn operation, click on the green prescribed fire button. Now back to the input panels. The meteorology panel is used to enter and store all the weather-related data required for all fire behaviour models. The main feature of the meteorology panel is a large input table containing a time series of the core dynamic weather variables. Daily information on rainfall and soil dryness is entered in the rainfall drought section beneath the table. At the moment, the data in the meteorology table is just some example data available in startup. But you can either enter in your own data, or there are some example data sets that can be loaded by selecting File, Open Sample Files. The location panel is where you enter in information on the location of interest, including the geographic coordinates, aspect, slope and elevation. Of these, aspect and slope are used to calculate the slope in the direction of the wind for a headfire. The vegetation panel is where all fuel data is entered. Each of the vegetation types has groups of specific fuel types, and each of these are associated with fuel type specific fire behaviour models. The layout of each fuel type pane is unique because the fuel specific fire behaviour models use different input variables. An important feature of each fuel type input pane is the Create Fuel Scenario button. All predictions in Amicus are made for a specific set of fuel conditions, which is called a fuel scenario. If there are no saved fuel scenarios, then no fire behaviour outputs are presented. Another feature common to each fuel type input pane is the preview section at the bottom, which gives you predictions for one point in time using the visible fuel variables as they appear before you commit to making a fuel scenario. Flame height and maximum spotting distance predictions are only given for fuel types where there are existing models. The output panel on the top right is where all of the model predictions are presented. It contains three tabs: Getting Started, Fire Danger, and Fire Behaviour. The Getting Started instructions are essentially a list of tasks that need to be done to make a prediction. The Fire Danger and Fire Behaviour tabs are where the predictions are presented. The current Fire Danger outputs are based on the Black Saturday Bendigo weather sample file we loaded previously. You can see that these outputs are both in tabular and graphical formats, which can be selected using the Data and Plot tabs. The data table has some colour codes for the different fire danger rating classes, which of course can be different for grasslands and forests. There is an entry for each time point in the meteorology table. The fire behaviour predictions aren't available yet because we haven't created a fuel scenario. If we create a fuel scenario, we can see predictions in two tables and the rate of spread predictions in a plot. I'll go into the details of these outputs in the next video, but I'll point out for you now that you can select this button here to edit your fuel scenarios. And you can go to the settings button to select which outputs are displayed in the table and what units they appear in. The settings button is one of the quick access buttons. The other quick access buttons here allow you to open an existing project file, save an Amicus project file, change default settings and reset the view, which I'll show in a minute. The Amicus interface is very flexible and the input panels can be picked up, moved and dropped to other locations inside and outside of the Amicus window, including across different monitors. If you want to restore the layout of Amicus to how it was at the start of the session, then click on Options, Set Default Layout, or press the Reset the View button here, which does the same thing. To get details on the fire models used in Amicus, click on Help About Fire Models, and you can get this document which contains the relevant details of the fire behaviour models used within Amicus, including their references. So now you should have a basic understanding of the Amicus layout. If you want to get a better understanding of the program and learn how to make and interpret a prediction, watch the next video. If you have any questions or suggestions, then put them in an email to us at amicus@csro.au.